When my baby was itty bitty, we had a baby wearing consultant come to my parents' group. Who knew that was a job? So cool. I remember that she spoke so passionately about baby wearing. She had this German accent and she was like, baby wearing will improve your baby's health. Baby wearing reduces crying by 40 to 50%. Baby wearing keeps you in tune with their needs and their rhythms. And then she was like, baby wearing will give you your life back. German accents aren't really my thing. But after over a year and a half of baby wearing, I have to tell you, I really agree with her. I do not know how I would have survived that first year without these carriers. That particular baby wearing consultant though was very passionate about not just using any old baby carrier, but about using really high quality ones. Except all the brands that she loved, especially the German ones, were prohibitively expensive. So I found another way. I ended up buying all 7 of these carriers for 150 Australian dollars. No joke. So today I'm going to share with you how much they all were, where I found them, and some of my tips for buying carriers secondhand. By the way, hi, I'm Maddie. I have a 20-month-old toddler. This channel is brand new, so if you learned something today, definitely take a moment to subscribe. Helps me a bunch. I believe that the first one I got was this Checko wrap carrier. I'm gonna do a proper review of all of these in a separate video. Today we're just gonna talk about how I sourced them and how much they cost. So these cost $100 new from the Checko website, and I got mine for, drum roll, $15. This was from Facebook Marketplace, and it was one of my favorite techniques, which is the will you accept X dollars if I pick it up today. I remember that I had my eyes on this exact pattern and color, and I nearly gave up, but I was pregnant. I didn't have a baby yet. I was like, I've got time. I'll just wait until the color that I want pops up. And eventually it did. If you've ever sold anything on Marketplace, you know you deal with so many messages from people who just no-show or take forever or ask you to hold it, that if someone says they're going to pick it up today, 9 times out of 10, I as a seller, I'm like, sure, pay whatever you want. I just want to go on. I saw it, but it was a little while away from where I lived. I think it was over half an hour. I wasn't really willing to just drive out just to get it. So I had it saved for, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. And then we were traveling in that direction, and I messaged and was like, hey, I knew they'd had it up for a while. Will you do $15 if I pick it up today? And they said yes. It was in perfect condition. Didn't even need a wash, honestly. I washed it for good measure, but it had no marks, no stains. It now does, because it got some good use. But I think they said that they never even really used it. I think it was an unwanted gift from a baby shower. Brand new in the bag and everything. Huge, huge win. I just want to tell you all about it, but I am going to save the review for another video. The next one I think I picked up was my ring sling. I love this carrier. I love this carrier so much. Now, this one, get this. This one costs $120 new. It is a Hugabub, and I got it for, biggest drum roll of all, for free. It was literally listed for free. I would never ask someone who had a price on something to do it for free. She just had it up for free. Now, when I told the baby wearing consultant this, she said that it's actually really common, because the thing about ring slings is they have a bit of a learning curve, and a lot of people, if they can't work it out quickly, they just get given them or they buy them because they look beautiful, and then if they can't work it out, they get frustrated and they just want them gone. They're just sick of looking at it if they can't work it out. So warning, if you're thinking about a ring sling, it takes practice. It takes practice and potentially a lesson from someone who knows how. I struggled learning from videos. I still couldn't get it quite right until I got a lesson from the baby wearing consultant. I'm so glad, because I nearly didn't buy one. I don't know if I would have bought one because I'd seen such mixed reviews. I wasn't really sure if it was going to be worth the investment, but I'm so glad that when I saw it for free, I was like, cool, well, that way I can just try it, because we have gotten so much use out of it. We have loved it so much. So that was a huge, huge win. Thank you, Facebook Marketplace gods. The next carrier is the one that I spent the most on out of any of my carriers, and that is the Fidela Fly Tie. So this is one of the German brands that the baby wearing consultant just raved about. One of the mums in my parents group had this carrier in a different color and a different size, but she had used it with her elder son and loved it. So that gave me confidence that it was going to be worth it. They don't always sell this exact one anymore. There is an Australian website that is selling this one for $209, not including shipping. Or you can get a slightly newer version directly from the Fidela website for about $250 equivalent Australian dollars. I got mine on Marketplace for $50 cash. I didn't even barter with them because I knew that it was such an expensive carrier new. I just kind of felt like $50 was fair. It's not a very common popular carrier, so you don't see them come up a lot, but this one I actually picked up from 1 minute away from where my parents' group was meeting every week at the time, so I didn't have to go out of my way. The people were really lovely. They had photos of them using it with both their children, said they loved it. The great thing is too, with the fabrics they use for middays and for woven wraps, it gets softer and easier to use with wear. So it was actually a huge win getting this one secondhand because it was already worn in, where if you buy it new, it can be quite stiff and it can take a lot of wear and wash for it to be soft enough to use comfortably. So huge win. They even gave it to me with this little carry bag and with the original instruction book and these optional little shoulder pads. So they had everything with it still. The next one I picked up was another German brand after trying on a similar model when I was with the baby wearing consultant. She had like a kit with lots of demo ones and I really liked this one, so I went hunting for the brand, and it is the Bondolino Original. So she had the slightly newer version of this, which was honestly pretty much the exact same. The difference being the newer version has like a tie that can cinch in the hip width, but I was able to mimic that by just using a shoelace to tie it in when my baby was a bit smaller. They don't sell this original version anymore, but the newer version of this retails for anywhere from $180 right up to $250. So it is not a cheap carrier. I got mine on Marketplace for $30. I am really proud of the Marketplace technique that I used to get this one. I couldn't find any in Brisbane where I live, but I had a feeling that these brands might be more popular in one of the bigger cities. So I changed my location to Sydney and then to Melbourne, and I found a couple in Melbourne, and one of them had been listed for a while. So I asked if they would ship it to Brisbane and include the shipping in the price, and they said yes. So I didn't even have to pay for shipping. They just sent it to me. And I don't think they'd even really used it because they had it in the original box with the original packaging. It's in perfect condition. It didn't have a mark on it at all. And we have gotten a lot of use out of this one. All right, next. You knew that this one was coming, the Ergo 360. Definitely my most used carrier. You can see by all of the marks on it, even though it's been washed a lot. These ones, they don't sell this 360 anymore. They sell the 360 Cool Air Mesh or the 360 Omni now. I will say several of the mums I know have the Cool Air Mesh and the Omni. In functionality, they are almost identical. The only difference between this and the Omni is the waist strap is a clip, not Velcro on the Omni, and they have adjustable hip positioning. So these are fixed. So you can't cinch them in smaller or bigger. I will say that my friends who had that adjustable hip positioning, they only really adjusted it for about 2 months and then ended up just keeping it on the widest from like 5-6 months anyways. The other thing is that I think the shape of this is ever so slightly different. It looks identical if you put them side by side, but they say that for this one you need an infant insert, where for the others you don't. That's only until 4 months anyways. So they don't sell this one currently new on the Ergo Baby website. I found one on Amazon for $200, and I found a similar version, just one model up, from Baby Bunting for around $200 too. Then on the Ergo Baby website, they currently sell the Ergo 360 Cool Air Mesh for $350. Oh my goodness. I got this one for $20 from Marketplace. The owner didn't know what model it was. What I recommend here is do your research, know exactly what each carrier looks like. And I knew that only this model had the Velcro waistband. So when I saw the Velcro waistband, I knew exactly which model of Ergo I was getting. These were going for anywhere between like $60 and $150 on Marketplace at that time. And I knew that $20 was a really good price. So I said yes. She'd used it for several babies. She was like, it's a bit old, but perfectly functional. There is literally nothing wrong with it. There is not a rip, not a tear, not a mark. It's literally just that the black is a little faded, which I personally don't mind about. And I also just think, even though there's newer versions available, just a few years ago, this was the top of the line. As much as I adore all the German brands and all the more exciting, beautiful carriers, this thing has gotten so much use. We used it so much that I recently was at an op shop and I saw another one, the exact same in just a different color for, get this, $15. The exact same model, has the Velcro waistband. Again, both in perfect condition, not a rip or a tear or a mark or a stain. These things are made to last. They have to be made strong so that they're safe. I wanted to get a second one because we use them so much. My partner always uses it, I always use it. So this way we have one that lives in the house with the pram we were using on our daily walks at the time, and the other one could live in the car so that we were never caught without it. One of my friends who has the Omni borrowed this one once when she didn't have hers on her and could not believe how soft it was. And again, it's that thing, because it's been worn, because it's been washed so many times, it makes it softer and so much more enjoyable to wear. I love that I got 2 of these for $35, where if you were to buy one from the Ergobaby website, very similar today, it would be $350. Literally 10 times the price just for one of them. Next up is my beautiful woven wrap. I was looking at German brands, but these are so expensive. Because for these to be safe, they have to be made from a very, very, very high quality material. They are very expensive, and the German brands in particular are very expensive. So I found this one on Marketplace, and the brand is, I'd never heard of this before, Viva Essenza, which is an Italian brand as far as I can tell, which is quite special. It comes up as Diva Milano, and I used to live in Milano and have a bit of a connection there, so it was kind of special. I've been looking at German ones on Marketplace and they were like $100 to $200 secondhand. This one new on the Diva Essenza website is about equivalent 115 Australian dollars, or elsewhere, other websites that are in Australia, it seems to be priced anywhere between $90 and $159. I got it on Marketplace for $20. I had my eye on some colors that I liked more. I wouldn't usually choose blue, some of the German brands, because they're just so beautiful, but they were so expensive and I wasn't sure if I was going to use it that much. And this one ended up being really close to home. It was literally 1 street away from my nana, so I just picked it up on my way to visit her one day. And again, because it had been worn, it was a lot softer than it would have been if it was new, and we have just loved it so much. I will do a full review in another video. There were also a couple of other carriers that I bought but I unsold, so I don't have them here today. I bought them just to try and I didn't end up liking them, so I unsold them, but I'll mention them here just so that you know. So when I was pregnant, I bought a limited edition Ergobaby original carrier in a nice linen neutral color. It was limited edition. I couldn't find it online new, but I found an old listing of it. I can't remember the price, but I imagine it was anywhere from like $150 to $250. I don't remember exactly. I'll see if I can find it. I scored it on Marketplace for $30, and then it turns out that the Ergobaby originals, you can't adjust the hip width, and the hip width that was set was very specific, and you can't face forward with them very well, so it wasn't going to be practical for us, but I managed to on-sell it for $100, so I made a little profit on that one. I also got a really cute coloured Baby Bjorn on Marketplace when I was pregnant for $5. I just thought the colours were cute. It was a well-known brand. $5 was a good deal, so I just grabbed it. But it turns out that they are one of the most uncomfortable carriers. Because of how they're designed, they're really uncomfortable for the parent, and they're also really uncomfortable for the baby. They don't position their hips correctly. I'll try and find a picture of the exact shape carrier, because Baby Bjorn do some that are okay, but this particular one you see around a bit, and it's, my baby hated it. She screamed. We couldn't work it out. We showed the consultant. She was like, that carrier is never going to work. Get rid of it. So we ended up just giving it to an op shop. So if you do the math, all these carriers new, not even including those last 2, would have cost me well over $830 new just for me to try all these carriers. So I saved a good $700, because if you add up how much I spent, it was $150 on those 7 of the carriers I now have. If you include the profit I made on the Ergo of $70, that would have brought it down to $80 for all of these. And I have just loved that doing it this way has allowed us to experiment with what we like. If I had have bought that linen carrier new, no way would I have unsold it, but we would have just been uncomfortable, and we might have hated baby wearing. We may have never found a carrier that we loved. So I really recommend doing it this way, just so that you can experiment, see what works for you, and hopefully find a carrier that you and your baby both love, because baby wearing really does give you your life back. It really does make doing this parent job so much more doable, I think. I found it so helpful and so fun to play around with these in that first year. If you want to see some more videos about other things that we sourced secondhand and other ways that we kept the budget low in that first year, I have so much more to talk about on this topic, so leave some comments down below. As I said, I will do a video reviewing all these carriers and telling you what I thought of them, but for now, thank you for being here. Thank you for being curious. You are truly an amazing parent just for being here.